Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with Gezey. I am your host, Gezey.
12 years, 85%. I did it. I stood on it. The thing about the streets is you can be caught up at the wrong place at the wrong time. I still got partners out there. You can't expect everybody to see things the way you see it when everybody didn't go through what you went through.
Real topics, real stories, real events. Give my real output.
This episode is about the cost of silence when we stay quiet. This is a very important and impactful episode that could resonate with many. Let's get straight to the point about it. To me, it bothers me when people stay quiet when they see something morally wrong. Now, we all have different morals, but you know when it's crossing the line, don't you? I mean, there's a difference between being nosy and recognizing when something is just morally wrong. I don't care if you at home, work, a restaurant, or at the movie theater. You could be at your doctor's office. If you see something that just morally ain't right and it resonates with your morals, at what point do you speak up? I'm talking about you. This is a real question, a direct question. When do you speak up when you know something ain't right? Whether it be your job, family members, friend, restaurants, stranger, whatever it is. When do you speak up? This episode is about the real cost of staying silent. We're going to discuss all the subtopics of what can happen when you stay quiet and when you speak up as well, personally and systematically. This episode was inspired about a real situation. A former Georgia Department of Corrections officer who would work there for about 8 years almost spoke up, but didn't. The hesitation. And that's the issue that we have right now. That's a problem. You know, I'm calling for all COs, current and former, to come speak your truth. Respect is here. I'm not asking you to lose your job. Only thing I'm asking for you to do is to be honest. We've heard the inmates. Now I feel like it's time that people hear y'all side of this so they can understand what goes on you guys' side of the spectrum. You know, I've never tried to bash a CO. I'm grown. I know y'all go there to do y'all job. But some of them take their job too personal and they try to bash us as inmates. But that's neither here nor there. I just simply had this CO talking to me. She was communicating with me. But you know what this tells me? It tells me the personal risk versus the reward is a big old gap. Meaning the fear is real. I have her messages. I won't display her as a person because I do respect her just speaking to me in general. But I do want a person to be open. She did ask me, could it be anonymous? I said it can be, but I'd rather it not be. She talked about the mistreatment, the corruption. She told me she saw the dirtiness in the prison. She told me one of the key points that stuck out to me is she told me, man, I've seen the food. The food isn't something that you could feed a raccoon. Now, when I heard her say that, when I saw her say it, it's all through text messages. When I saw her said that resonated with me deeply because I've seen the food. I've eaten the food. I know the food is terrible. But when you see these extreme conditions like this, when you notice these extreme conditions, Why don't you say something? Why don't you speak up? So she was going to do the interview, or she agreed with me that she should do the interview, until she told me she's going to talk to her husband about it. At that point, when she told me she was going to talk to her husband about it, I knew I was about to lose her. And she told me her husband was a captain, or is a captain still, in the Department of Corrections. Now, immediately I said to her, I'm not knowing word for word exactly what I said to her, but immediately I told her, so what if he tells you no? Then what? You know, how is that going to make you feel? And she was like, you right. But she wanted to talk to him about it. At that point, I really pretty much know that she wasn't going to talk. And maybe he told her, no, don't do it. Don't talk about what's going on. She did tell me that she was about to apply for South Carolina Department of Corrections. And she didn't want any job retaliation. She didn't want any retaliation. And that is the biggest issue. Because I'm the type of guy, if I see something, I'm going to speak up. I've done it like this. I'm not the type to just be quiet. I don't like to be quiet. If it's something that deeply affects me, I'm going to step up and I'm going to say something. If I see it happening right in front of me, I got to say something. I cannot just see something that ain't right morally with me, around me, and I not say nothing. I can't let it go down like that. I've spoken up about all kind of stuff, all kind of different things. But just like with these issues, like the dirtiness, the unsanitary conditions, the mistreatment and dehumanization of inmates, food not even fit for a raccoon. These ain't small issues. These need to be spoken about. Attention need to be drawn to these situations. These are humans in these conditions, and it gets worse. So when you decide to not speak up, I just want you to know that this could be your brother, your mother, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, your auntie, your grandparents in these same situations. Everybody back here don't commit crimes. Some of them are very much innocent. Some of them plead to something that they ain't had no business pleading to. Regardless of that, man, I thought prison was supposed to be a rehabilitation center. But instead, it's mistreatment, it's terrible living conditions, and you got your own workers scared to speak up for the inmates because they don't want to lose their job. They don't want their job to be at risk. They don't even want to put in a HR call and let them know that because they feel like it's going to get back to them losing their job. Would you stay quiet though if your family was in there? If your family was in the Department of Corrections and you work for the Department of Corrections, which means they're not going to let you work around your family, but you know the living conditions, would you speak up then? Because it always seems like people tend to speak up more when it affects closer to home. Speaking up just may cost you your job. It may cost you future jobs. But staying quiet can cost someone their dignity or worse. And that falls on you. If you were one of those people that saw what happened and didn't speak up. And the systematic inertia behind this is the silence is reinforced. The silence is a culture. Like kind of like stay in your lane. It spreads. One person stay quiet and the others follow. No one speak, nothing changes. That's where I come in at. I lived in those messed up situations, those terrible living conditions around this food that is not fit for, like this CEO just said, a raccoon. I've eaten it. I've been around where these guys in the kitchen say, man, the food say not for human consumption. I've never seen that by my own eyes, but the guys in the kitchen worked and said they've seen boxes where it says not for human consumption. Man, listen. If you don't speak up, the behavior becomes normalized. If nobody speaks up, the behavior gets worse. If you speak up, you can save a life. Because you got to think about it like this. If a doctor knows for a fact they don't have enough, whatever it is, medication to take on 100 patients, but yet they bring in 200 patients, so they know 100 of them gonna die. At what point does he speaks up and go higher up and say, look, they know they ain't ordering enough prescriptions to save hundreds of people, yet they're accepting hundreds of people. That's just a real life example so that y'all can see and understand how this can affect you too. Staying silent don't help nobody. I get it, protecting your job. I get it if you feel trapped. But accountability still has to play a part. Accountability lives there in your heart, in your mind, in your body. The fear of retaliation does kill the truth. I know. I could be retaliated against at any time for doing what I'm doing right now. For giving inmates a voice. For giving people a voice about the system to tell their truths. My platform is wide open for anybody who would like to speak their truth, not just about prison, but real life stories, real situations, real conversations, and real topics that need to be discussed. As long as it's real, we can talk about it. But I lived through what I lived through, 12 and a half years of prison. I saw what I saw. I made it my business to come out here and at least use my voice. One person can't move a mountain, but a million can. All I want to do is reach the next person that they can pass the rock off and they can do the same thing I'm doing times 10. That's it. I can't save the world. I can't change the laws, but I can bring attention and awareness so that we can shift some sort of accountability. Because if these officers scared to speak up, no protection means no voice. If they're not protected to speak up and say, yo, I'm seeing how they treating these inmates is wrong. I've talked to these officers myself when I was back there. You see how they doing us. Sometimes they'll just shake their head. They know it's wrong. And then sometimes you'll have the cool officers. They don't want to lose their job either. So they'll, hey, boom, I'm gonna give y'all a shower, man. I know they ain't giving y'all no shower. Look, y'all got 5 minutes. Y'all got 5 minutes. Go ahead and get y'all a shower. Stuff like that. They know when they see some stuff that's not right, but then they'll at least, they risking their job a little bit by just giving us that little bit of freedom to say, hey, go get a shower. I know y'all ain't washing a week. Hurry up, though. By the time I get back, y'all need to be done. Those kind of people move with action. They move with purpose. They see something wrong. They may not speak up right then and there, but they see what they can do to make a change within that situation. Now, leadership, organizations, and corporations don't always protect truth tellers. I need you guys to know your unity does matter. People speak louder together versus speaking loud alone. I'm with you. At this point, listen, I'm calling out any and all correctional officers directly. I want to use my platform so you can speak up. Your voice matters. Current correctional officers or former correctional officers. I do not know y'all policy as far as the current correctional officers. I've spoken to a few since I've been looking for some to talk. I don't know y'all policy. Y'all know y'all policy. Former, retired, ex-correctional officers, speak up. I'm paying. This is a paid opportunity. I'm not asking you to speak up for free. All I ask you to do is tell the truth. That's it. You don't got to expose everything, but you got to be real. You got to be real. Your perspective balances the narrative. I tell people the perspective that I've seen on the inside of prison. I want to give officers a chance so people can see you guys' perspective on what goes on behind the wall. Silence isn't neutral. It costs people more than we can admit. I don't want to stay silent. I don't want to. I want to expose every little bit I can, but I can't unpack it all at once. And it's a chess game. I keep telling y'all, life is like a chess game. We can't play checkers when we're trying to attack the enemy. No, not at all. It's a chess game. But listen, if you ain't take nothing away from this episode, I want you to take this. Now is the time to speak up. If you see something, say something. There's ways for you guys to speak up. There's ways and methods for you guys to be anonymous when you speak up. Not just correctional officers, anybody in whatever field that you're in. If you see something that's morally just ain't right, if you see somebody getting mistreated because of their race, color, because of their way of living, their religion, anything, speak up. Speak up. Don't risk your job for any little thing. But if it's something morally that just ain't right, imagine the effect that you're laying by not saying anything. This has been another episode of Real Talk with Gezey, y'all, where we discuss real topics, real stories, and real truths. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. Check out some of my other episodes. See y'all on the next episode. Peace.